Hello everyone. Let me adjust you guys up a little bit. How are you guys doing this Tuesday evening? Welcome, welcome. Let me just go over here and share with the group here. How are you guys this Tuesday? Let's see here. More options, share to a group. Look at that. I think I got it. So I'm just going to share that. So I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to my Facebook Live, my Tuesday night at 7 p.m. I am coming to you from my craft room. It's kind of clean but kind of messy. My name, in case anybody who is new here does not know who I am, my name is Christine Dam. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and I own a little crafting business called Crafts with Chris. So I thank you guys so much for joining me. I see someone is here. A couple of people are here. Oh, Trish. Hi, Trish. How are you? I'm so happy we're back to emailing again. Like I said, I own my own business called Crafts with Chris, and basically I show you guys crafts and hopefully you guys enjoy them. And if you want to buy any of the products, you can shop at my online store at Stampin Up, and that's what I do. So, and I enjoy doing these Facebook Lives. I started them back up. I used to do them a while ago, but time just got the best of me. So now I kind of fit them in my schedule, and hopefully, I'll continue doing these. So today, I have a card that I made, but it's super simple. I'm more or less focusing on the coloring techniques. There's different coloring techniques that we have, or coloring tools, I should say. So I'm going to focus on that, but I'm going to show you the set that I'm using it from. But before we begin on there, I want to talk to you guys about my card classes. I'm offering them up again. I used to run card classes. These are run a little differently. These will be offered every 2 weeks. So this class is running until February 14th. And I'm glad you're glad I'm doing lives. I really enjoy doing the lives, and I've gotten a lot of great feedback from them. So February 14th, this card class will end. It's the Pretty Perennials, and if you shop with me online, any order you make online with me at my shop, use the current host code, which I will leave in the link of the video, but it's also, once I point you guys down, I'll show you that. Then you get the card class from me for free. Or you can buy the packet. It's $15. That includes shipping. Just email me and I will send you an invoice for that. The packet includes six cards, 3 different designs. You'll get all the materials to make the 6 cards. You will not get any of the adhesives. I can't do any stamped images because that is a Stampin' Up policy, but you'll get all the material to make the cards. And I am using the Pretty Perennials this week, for this card class, but it's not a necessity. You can do this card class, with your own supplies. It's the materials I'm giving you. You can use whatever you have. So that's that. Don't forget to comment on this video so you have a chance to win. I always do a drawing every week to pick a winner. I just give out a random prize. I mailed out, Donna won last week, so I mailed out her package Monday. So you should be getting that soon if you haven't already received it. And my two customers who spent the most with me last year, I mailed out your goodies. Hopefully you'll get them soon if you haven't already received them. So I thank you guys so much. That is something I do too, is you don't have to pay attention to what you spend with me. At the end of the year, I go ahead and hi Tina, add up what you guys spend, and the people who spend the most with me will get a little goodie from me. Usually I pick one person, But this year, I think they were like, it was $1.50 or $2.60 or something crazy like that, where they were within spending the most. So I gave 2 prizes away this time, and it's a $25 pick. You pick whatever you want out of the current catalogs, $25 worth of goodies from me. So anyways, I'm going to turn you guys down, and we'll go ahead and I'll show you guys what I'm doing today. Like I said, the card, I'm not really focusing on the card. It's more or less the coloring techniques. So hopefully you guys will like them. So let me go ahead and point you guys down. Okay, so let's see. Can you guys see me okay? I think so. Get that host code in there. I don't know if that's, I don't think you guys can see that host code. My son came in here today and messed with my video tripod. Let's see. I think that's better. There we go. Okay, so there's the host code that I was talking to you guys about and letting you guys know that you need to use with every order that's under $150 or $150 or less. Use this current host code. I change the host code every month, and it's on my website. If you don't see it or don't know where to find it, just message me and I will go ahead and message you back what the current host code is. Use this one, you'll get that card class. Yeah, that's fun, Tina. I pour in my wine. I love wine. So the set that I'm going to kind of showcase, but not really, is Hey Birthday Chick. So Hey Birthday Chick, this is super cute. This was in the mini catalog. It was just a stamp set. So Stampin' Up had recently just released, I think it was this Tuesday, the 2nd, for everybody to purchase. If you were a demonstrator, you got to purchase it a month early. Dies with this and the Hey Chick set. This is an old set. This came out, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago. It was right after I had become a demo. The first celebrations, this set was in there, and I just love this set. And this also has dies with it. But I'm not showcasing this one tonight. This is the one here. So you get all these dies with it and your stamp set. Well, if you buy the bundle, you can purchase them separately. But here's the dies. So you get a cutout of this chicken right here, this chicken, and then this little guy right here. And then you get this awesome fencing, and it's got detail in there. This little happy birthday. There's a little bow tie with some details. This is not a cutout. This didn't cut out this way. This is, if you guys can see that, it's, I don't know if it's chicken feed, chicken scratch. It almost looks like it's like chicken hay or something. This makes a impression in your paper. So it won't cut it out, but if you wanted to do a little strip with this design in it, it'll cut those designs in it. It won't cut that out. Then you get this cute little chicken, and the little flap of his wing comes up. This is a banner that you can use, and then your little bag of feed. Super cute. And when you mix the two together, I don't have the die cutouts for this one, but there's lots of things that go together with this set, so they just coordinate perfectly. So both of these bundles, I don't know which one is which. One of them is $43 and one of them is $44. So if you buy both the bundles, then you would get one $50 free item, and then if you bumped it up to $100, you could get 2 free items or 1 free item that's worth $100. And that is going away as of the 28th. So if you guys want those free items, then you want to go ahead and get your orders in. So here's the card that I created. Super simple, like I said. I'm mainly going to focus on the coloring just to show you guys the different tools that we have. and how to color and how to do certain things. So this one here is an A-frame card. They call it an A-frame card. It is still a 5.5 by 4 1/4 size. It's just cut differently. So when you have your 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, you normally, what I do is I cut it right down the middle at 5.5, and that'll give you 2 card bases, and then you fold them at 4 1/4. This, to make the A-frame card, you just turn the card, and on the 8.5 side, you just cut it down at 4 1/4. And then you have your 2 A-frame size cards. So, as you can see, that's half of a sheet of paper. So, with this one here, there are, I stamped out the chicken with the balloon. So, with this, with the different coloring techniques, we have 2 different inks that Stampin' Up! Offers right now. One is called Stays On, and it's a solvent ink. And one is Memento, which is a fade-resistant dye ink. So what's the difference between the both of them? Well, this guy here, this is more for permanent. You can stamp on plastic, glass, ceramic, stuff like that. You can also stamp on paper with it. This one needs a special cleaner when you use it. This is the cleaning. It stays on ink, or stays on cleaner, and it comes with a little cleaning head. And that's how you would clean your stamps, because this will stain your stamps, and it will, if you don't clean them or you don't use this stays on ink, it'll leave a stain on them, which I know a lot of the inks we use do stain them, but this ink here, you want to take care of it as soon as possible, because it can goop up on your stamp and then affect the image of it. This one here is mostly for stamping on paper. It also, this one is for alcohol-based coloring, which would be what the Stampin' Blends are. So you would use this to stamp out if you're gonna do any kind of coloring with the Stampin' Blends. If you're doing any kind of watercoloring, so you're coloring with any of our inks, any of the Stampin' Right markers, the Stays On is what you want to use. And I'll show you the difference. This one here I stamped with the Memento. And when you color with the Memento, you're going to get a little bit of the black of the ink is going to smear. So this doesn't bother me. It doesn't drive me nuts. But if it does, and if you're coloring a big spot, like if you were coloring this big chicken like a color, and you were using a water-based way to color it, then all those black little lines on this chicken are going to smear. So those are the 2 differences with these inks. You see me use the Memento a lot. I do a lot of coloring with the Stampin' Blends. That's just my favorite tool to color with. But I'm going to show you some different options on how to color. So let me take out a piece of paper here. This is just a piece of basic white. And I'm going to stamp out that chicken. I'm going to stamp him in Memento, and I'm going to stamp him in the Stays On so you guys can see. So here he is. And that's in the Memento. And then I'm just going to wipe him off. I just got a new simple chamois. So look at the difference in how pretty that one looks. That's my most recent one besides that one. And then that is the oldest one that I have. So this one here I'm going to use to clean off this Memento. They're so pretty when they're brand new. So then with the Stays On, I see a little bit of ink on that one. I don't know why I didn't flip this upside down. It's easier a lot of times when you have a larger stamp, which I know this isn't incredibly large, but it's easier to take your ink pad and stamp down on the stamp instead of vice versa. So there's your StazOn, and I'm just going to stamp him right here. So they look the same. There's really not that much of a difference in the way that they look on the paper. So I just wiped that off with my simple chamois, and then usually what I would do if I'm using the StazOn ink and I'm transferring or working or whatever, I would use my simple chamois to clean it off. And then when I'm all done, before I put the stamp away, I would just take my StazOn ink cleaner, just rub it all along, and you could see that it picked up a bunch of ink on there. Then I'll just take my simple chamois and just rub over that, just get that clean, and then you're good to go. So with these two stamps here, or two images here, let me show you guys. So with the let's see, what am I going to show you guys first? Let's do the blender pens. So these are the blender pens. These are great. You get 3 of them in a pack, and you get 3 tips on one side and 3 tips on the other. I think the tips are one's a little fatter and the other one's a little smaller. So these guys here are good. You can use these with your ink pads. So for instance, I'll color the balloon. Let me put my StazOn one over there. Oops. So before I just do that, hi Aunt Patty, how are you? So with our ink pads, what's nice about these is you can use these to color. So you can either take your ink pad and you can squeeze it, and then you can put some ink in there, or you can take one of the blocks and just ink it down, use that, or you can take one of the re-inkers and put it on a block. So there's many ways to color. If you use the re-inker, your colors are going to be a lot darker. So if you want it to be not so dark, you want to take and make sure you use lots of water to spread that out. So with the blender pens, all you do is you just pick up some of this ink in here, and then you just color. So it's another way to color, and it's nice because you don't need another, you just use your ink pad to do your coloring. But see how that's smearing in there because I'm using a water-based ink. You could do that, like I said, with your block too. You could use your ink there. So there's that way of coloring. You can also, so let me go ahead and close this up and show you guys. I'll bring in my chamois here. With these, to clean these off when you're done, you just want to rub them back and forth until it runs clear. So I always like to do it on the, if I have my chamois, you can just do it on your paper. But you can see now it's not, there's no pink ink there. There's no Magneta ink there. So that's how you clean them off. Can also use the watercolor pencils. There's 2 different kinds of watercolor pencils Stampin' Up offers. So with these, you can just color with these, or you can use your, let's see, what color do I want here? I think I want, what is this one? We'll do Cajun Craze. So you can just color with this, just like so. And then just leave it like that. Or you can take, once you get that all colored, you can bring in your blender again and just go over that. And that kind of smooths it out and makes your color more even. So these blender pens are nice and they last. I mean, I have my original blender pens that I had when I first joined Stampin' Up back in 1998. I probably bought them in maybe 99, 2000, and they still work. So, but I had to get the updated ones just to see if they were any different. So that's the blender pens. Those are really, really fun to use. And like I said, you can use them with our inks. You can use them with the colored pencils. Yeah, the Magnetia Madness is so pretty. It's so vibrant. It almost matches my nails tonight. But I didn't purposely do that. I painted them pink because of Valentine's Day. But I did not try to match. I never try to match them. The ones I had, Trish, back when I bought them, like I said, that's dating me, but back in like 2000, I want to say was probably when I bought them. It didn't dry out. I still use them. They still worked good. These new ones, I can tell they're a little bit... they have a little bit more water in them, you know, but they still work. They still worked great. So I'm really impressed with a lot of the quality of Stampin' Up! Their stuff. I've been using their stuff since '98, and I still have a lot of their stuff. Their ink pads, just wonderful. They do great quality service on their stuff. So that's the blender pens. There's also, let's see, what else is there? Oh, the water painters. So these guys, there's 3 of them. And Tina, you still have your originals too. I know, they last forever. So you get 3 of these water painters in a pack, and there's 3 different tips to them. You get like a medium-sized tip. This one's more of a pointed tip, a smaller, finer one, and then a paintbrush style. So with these, let me just show you. Each of these work the same way. So you just fill this with regular water, and you just unscrew the barrel. I've already have these filled. Let me see. Okay. So they're already filled, but you just put regular tap water in there, and then you just put that lid back on. And they're good to go. So with these, you can use the, do I want to do this color? Let me see. What was I going to use that on? Right here. So, again, real red. I'm going to just push that ink in there. And I'm going to take the smaller tipped one here. Just going to pick up a little bit of this. So if you squeeze this, your color is going to be more watered down. It's not going to be as intense. I didn't squeeze this yet. I'm just going to use it on the little chicken thing here. And that's all there is to using that. If you squeeze it, you get... You see how it gets watery. So you can really have some fun with this. We have watercolor paper, which Stampin' Up! Sells this watercolor paper. So this is fun to play with too. Let me get different colors. I'll show you guys. I'll take the larger brush, and I'm going to do, oops. I always want to open them. So you can either start painting this on as it's dry. I like to wet this first before I work with it. So I'll just get a whole bunch of water on here. And then you can pick up your ink and you just start painting with it. So with the water, because I put the water on there, I love how it just kind of bleeds and gives that like watercolor look to it. It makes it a lot lighter. If you don't put the water down, it's still gonna, you know, be watercolor, but it's gonna be a little bit more intense. So let me add in Melon Mambo. That's another, that was my favorite pink before the Magneta came in. So I'm just going to take this guy here, my simple chamois, and I'm just going to run it clear. So there we go. It's nice and clear. So I'm going to pick up some of this. So this will make a nice background for some card that I do later. And then I'll do the same thing. I'm wiping it off. And then I'll bring in the Rococo Rose to kind of give it that final look. Hi, Deb. So again, and I like the paintbrush one for this because it's a big section that I'm using. But again, if you're doing something smaller, you want to use one of the smaller tips. So isn't it pretty? And then you can let this dry and you can stamp something down on it, cut it up, whatever you want to do with it. But I just love the watercolor look. So that's the watercolor painting. And then, let's see, just clean these off again. And I actually think I want to use these next. I don't know. But I'm going to take, before I close this lid, and I'm just going to take my simple chamois and kind of get, that's a little too wet in there. So I'm just going to clean that up. That's one thing I love about this simple chamois. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I love it because it has so many uses in the craft room. The only, one of the things I hear is when it dries, it's rock hard. And yes, it does dry rock hard. But once you put water on it, you can reactivate it. Sometimes if it's real hard, it does take a little bit. But, and then all I do to clean it is I just run it under water once I'm done and just let it run until the water's clean. So you'll get a lot of the ink out, but it will stain, and that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to keep the ink in there. So let me close this one up. So let's bring back in our chicken. So with this chicken here, I did these guys. The other thing I wanted to show you was, here is these Stampin' Blends. So with the Stampin' Blends, this is where you would use your Stampin' Blends with the Memento one. So let me bring back in that other chicken. And I'll show you. So this is the Stays On. This is the one where if you use your Stampin' Blends, your ink will smear. And like I said, you guys, it did smear. So if that bothers you, then stamp it with Stays On and do all your watercoloring with the Stays On. Let's see. Let me get a color here. Let's do this one here. So here's your Seaside Spray, so I'm going to color with it. And it is making a liar out of me. Normally it would run those colors. I guess it is a little bit, but maybe I let it dry long enough. I don't know. But usually when you color with these Stampin' Blends, it'll activate that ink and it'll make the Stays On ink runny like it did here. And it is, you can see it. It's hard to tell, but it is starting to smear up a little bit there. So if you want to color with your Stampin' Blends, I recommend doing the Memento and then coloring with your Stampin' Blends. So that's the Stampin' Blends. You guys know all about the Stampin' Blends because I use them all the time. Okay, so hi, Sally. So there's that. And then with our chicken here, what else did I do with the chicken? Oh, the huffing technique. So we have our Stampin' Right markers. You can color with these. They have the same kind of tip. They have a fine tip, and there's the brush kind of tip there. So one of the things that you can do with these is, let me find the Let's Celebrate You. I'm going to take this Let's Celebrate You. I'm going to put that guy on a block. And then I've got the Magneta, the Melon Mambo, and then the Rococo Rose. So what I'm going to do is take the paintbrush side of it, and let's see here. I'm going to do Magneta first. I'm just going to start to color just a little bit, maybe at a diagonal. And I'll take my Melon Mambo, color next to them. And then I'll take my Rococo Rose and finish it off. This is a great way to add a bunch of color to a stamp. And it looks like it would be complicated. Like looking at it, you're like, how did they do that? But it's real easy. So then all you do is you just huff on it. You just take your breath and a couple of times just to activate it, and then you stamp it down, and then you get a awesome coloring effect here with those 3 colors. So it's really, that's a really neat thing to do, to add color to your stamps, and if you have a flower or something that you wanted different colors. So that's that. And then what was the other thing here? What other? Oh, we also have, which I'm not using them, but I've showed you guys the blending brushes. These are another great coloring tool. Let me move that out of the way. I'm going to bring in another piece of paper. So the blending brushes, these are awesome. If you guys haven't used them yet, you guys got to use them. They're great. They're so soft. So all you do is, they're not a foam, they're a brush. They got like a million of these little bristles in there, and they're so soft. So just take your blending brush. I just kind of tap it. You could do the same thing. You could squeeze some out in there. But I just kind of tap it on my ink pad. And then I'll go off to the side first, and then I'll just start rubbing this on. And it just gives it such a nice color. And you can, you know, darken it up. Just keep going over it, make it nice and dark. They're very comfortable to hold on to. And again, it's, you know, adding that color in the background. So then I can bring in, you should always start with your darker color first, so you don't screw up your ink pads. So you start with your darker color, move on to the next color, down to the lightest. So I'm just going to use my other Stampin' brush here. You get a pack of 3 of these. They're well worth it. So I'm going to rub that off. That is the Melon Mambo. And then I'm just going to bring that in and kind of blend that in. So simple to use. So easy. So I love these. Another great way to do some coloring. So there's that. And then, oh yeah, on the same lines of that, we have sponges. I don't have our current sponges. I have these sponges that I got for Christmas like forever ago. Our sponges look like this, but our sponges are so much better. I used to have our sponges. I got to order more. But they're round like this. And I just cut mine up into pieces. And I just keep them in this bag here. You can take your sponge, and you can kind of same idea. Just stick your sponge on there, go like this, and it's a different look. See how it's a different, because you've got that sponge in there. So it gives you a different look. This is more of a subtle, and that's got a little bit more texture to it. And obviously there's some kind of blue ink in here. But that's another way to do some coloring. And then we also have sponge daubers. So I have mine in a little kit that I had created a while ago. Another demonstrator had created this all the colors or whatever in there. So I keep them in here. These guys here, so get a clean one here. That's a brand new one. These can fit right on your finger. And same idea. You just tip them in here. These have a more controlled, because they're so small, you can do a smaller area. So it's kind of the same concept as the sponge there. It kind of gives you the same kind of look. So I like these. These were my favorite, but these blending brushes are my favorite now. I just love them. The blending brushes, just like I said, they give that softer look. But these are great for when you need something small. So I'll just put these back away. There's so many options for coloring. We also have sponge brayers. So mine's stained just from using it, but I don't know. I think you get 2 or 3 of these with a couple of heads. These guys here, same kind of thing with the blending brushes. Let me see here. I just had my Rococo Rose I was using. I don't know where I put that. Oh well, I've got the Melon Mambo. Let me do the Magnet of Madness. So this, you want to be careful. You don't want to press too hard, because these little plastic handle things can really tear into your ink pad. So when you're using these, just easy, real light. You don't need to go crazy. And you just roll. You just keep rolling it over the top. Just like that. Again, don't press down, because you're going to ruin your ink pad. So you just pick up your ink. And then this here, let me put it on this side here. You just roll. So another way to do some coloring. This would do a great ombre effect. You could start off really dark here and then going forward. So let's kind of get this nice and dark, and then you kind of start moving down a little bit. And you see how it's lighter? So that's kind of a neat little tool too to use for coloring. More so backgrounding, but you can see how if you keep going over an area, it gets dark, and then you just kind of fade it down. You can do that nice ombre look. So that's another option. We do have a ton of coloring options through Stampin' Up. So let me show you one last thing before we go with this guy here. This right here, I know I'm a little bit longer than I normally am. We're going to put this on our card base, but before we do that, I wanted to show you something else that's really cool to do with these paintbrush, the water painters. I'm going to take the fat one again, because I really like the dots that it does. So here's our Magnet of Madness. I'm going to squeeze that, get some ink in there, take this ink, and I'm going to get a lot of water in there because I want it nice and juicy. So as you can see, it's nice and juicy there. So you can either you could cut out of the dies this chicken shape, put it over the chicken if you don't want splatter marks on the chicken. But I'm not going to do that. And then you just take your paintbrush and you just kind of splatter. But make sure you have paper down, because as you can see, it's kind of messy. So it just depends on how much splatter you want on there. So that's cool to add as a technique, or a, not a technique, but a 3D type background, So that's kind of cool. So I think I covered all my coloring. But yeah, that's lots of coloring options through Stampin' Up. Lots of tools that you can work with, just depending on what you like. So this card here, I just folded the Magnet of Madness. And then you just apply this to the front. So that card is so simple, but it's really cool with the things that you did to it, And like I said, with that chicken, you can cover that chicken up so it doesn't have the splatter on that. And then we just adhere that to our card. And then, of course, don't forget to put a piece of Whisper White on the inside. So there's that. And didn't take anything to make that card. So that is, oh my gosh, you guys, my desk is a mess. That is that with the, I'm going to flip you guys up here, hopefully, with my video tonight. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I was a little longer than normal. I see I lost some people, but thank you guys for sticking with me. And don't forget to comment so you do have a chance to win something. And I'll leave all the information on all the different coloring tools in the description of the video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will talk to you guys next Tuesday. Thank you guys so much for watching and joining me. And we'll see you guys later. Bye.